Jérémy Jacquet. It's a name that's been bandied around for a few weeks now, and it looks like Liverpool have got their man.
Jérémy Jacquet is a Liverpool player.
Breaking news, Jérémy Jacquet, the talented French defender from Rennes, is set to join Liverpool in the summer transfer window. Here we go.
A 20-year-old centre-back signed for £55 million plus add-ons taken out of the market before a bidding war could even begin. A player trusted in Ligue 1, validated at UEFA youth level and developed fast enough that his parent club paid to bring him back early, just to stop losing him to time. All of this is happening while Liverpool's defence is under strain. Injuries, rotation, a high line that leaves no margin for hesitation, and a captain who's still elite, but no longer immune to the calendar. This is where Jérémy Jacquet enters the picture, not as a gamble, not as depth, but as a plan, a defender built for duels, trusted in build-up, comfortable in chaos, and arriving at the exact moment Liverpool needs succession without surrender, alongside Virgil van Dijk, not instead of him. This is why Liverpool timed this move now, what Jacquet actually fixes on the pitch, and how this signing quietly sets up the club's next defensive era without sacrificing the present. Liverpool's latest defensive signing isn't a project in the soft, developmental sense of the word. This is a genuinely strategic buy, the kind that tells you a club is intelligently planning two timelines at once, the next 10 crucial games and the next 10 years. Because at just 20 years old, Jérémy Jacquet is already being valued like an established first-team starter. Liverpool have reached a verbal agreement with Stade Rennais to sign him in a deal worth up to £60 million. £55 million guaranteed plus £5 million in performance-based add-ons, beating Chelsea to his signature in the process. That price tag genuinely matters because clubs simply do not spend like that on a young centre-back unless they believe he can become a genuine pillar of the defence, not just a passenger or squad filler. Jacquet was born on July 13th, 2005 in Bondy, a place that has become absolutely synonymous with producing elite-level footballers in France. He's of Guadeloupean descent, and he came through the respected Rennes development system with exactly the profile that top coaches love. Big physical frame, right-footed, and composed enough on the ball to be trusted early in high-pressure situations. This context is genuinely important. Liverpool aren't signing some random late bloomer who suddenly looked decent for a few months. Rennes are consistently one of France's absolute best talent developers, and Jacquet is exactly the type of defender they typically protect fiercely, extend early, and only sell when the price becomes impossible to ignore. And they did protect him aggressively. On May the 26th, 2025, Rennes officially tied him down to a new contract running all the way until 2029. So for Liverpool to successfully pry him loose so soon after that contract extension tells you something crucial. This was a targeted, deliberate decision from Liverpool's recruitment team, not opportunistic shopping. Jacquet made his professional debut for Rennes back in January 2024, coming on late as a substitute in a win over OGC Nice. But the real development story isn't that brief cameo appearance, it's what came next. Rennes made a choice that strong academies consistently make when they believe a young player is genuinely close to being ready. They pushed him into a demanding loan environment where defenders either learn fast or get brutally exposed. He went on loan to Clermont Foot for serious minutes, not vibes or token appearances. And here's the detail that really tells you Rennes were watching his progress incredibly closely. In February 2025, Rennes recalled him early from that loan, ending the agreement well before schedule, a move widely reported to have required a significant payment of around €900,000 just to terminate the deal early. Clubs absolutely do not burn money like that unless the internal conclusion is crystal clear. We need him back now. He's ready. That's honestly one of the cleanest indicators you can get in modern football development. It's not just a scout saying optimistically, he looks ready. It's a club literally paying a substantial fee to definitively say, he is ready right now. On the international side, Jacquet isn't just vaguely in the picture for France's youth teams. He's already been specifically highlighted on a major tournament stage. He was named in the UEFA European Under-19 Championship team of the tournament in 2024, after France reached the final. That's not an award you casually get handed for potential or promise. It usually goes to players who are consistently trusted, repeatedly tested in pressure situations, and still stood up and performed. For Liverpool's recruitment team, that tournament recognition matters enormously because elite-level recruitment doesn't just ask the simple question, can you play? It asks the much harder question, can you play when the game starts genuinely squeezing you, when the pressure builds? Tournament football absolutely squeezes young players, and he made the team of the tournament anyway. Even before we dive into deeper tactical analysis in later chapters, you can already see his identity clearly in the simplest defender's work numbers from his League One minutes this season. 85 clearances, 76 ball recoveries, 37 aerial duels, won 1,278 touches, 945 passes completed. That statistical profile is the foundation of the entire story. The clearances and recoveries show he's actively involved in ending opposition attacks, not hiding from physical challenges. The aerial duel wins prove he competes aggressively in the air. He doesn't back off or avoid contact. The touches and completed passes demonstrate he's not only a fight-first defender who just clears everything, he's active in circulation and build-up play, which is absolutely crucial for a top club that wants to control games from the back. And now connect those numbers to the transfer fee and the timing of this move. Liverpool aren't buying a defender to sit quietly behind the established starters and develop slowly. They're paying genuine premium money for a 20-year-old because they believe he can handle Premier League speed, physical duels and build-up responsibility sooner than most young defenders could. Liverpool's defensive leadership has had a clear, dominant face for years, Virgil van Dijk. But he was born in 1991, which means Liverpool are operating in the unavoidable reality of football aging curves, even if his current level remains exceptionally high. The club also know from painful experience what a season looks like when injuries stretch defensive depth and force uncomfortable improvisation. And recent reporting has repeatedly framed Liverpool's defensive availability as a genuine pressure point this season. So when Liverpool move early and spend big for a young centre-back, it's absolutely not random or impulsive. It's a well-run club saying clearly, we're not waiting until the decline becomes visible and we're scrambling. We're moving now while we still have control and can plan properly. And that's exactly where Jacquet's story at Liverpool really begins. Because the next question is the one that makes this signing genuinely scary for everyone else in the Premier League. What does he add to Liverpool's system right now, immediately? And how does he fundamentally change what they can become next? Because £60 million for a 20-year-old defender isn't just about the future. It's about believing he can contribute to the present too. Now that we know who he is and where he came from, here's the real question that matters. What exactly are Liverpool buying for £55 million plus add-ons? Because that fee only makes genuine sense if Jacquet isn't just a promising young body with potential. He's a defender with repeatable Premier League tools already developed, winning duels, recovery speed, calm distribution under pressure, and the mentality to survive long defensive phases without panicking. And the numbers we can verify from his season already sketch that profile sharply and convincingly. Start with the part Liverpool value most in their centre-backs, winning crucial moments when it matters. In League One this season, Jacquet has played 1,604 minutes, starting 18 games, and his defensive output isn't just nice for his age. It's heavy, genuine senior centre-back volume. 26 tackles, 18 interceptions, 15 blocked shots. That's not a passive defender standing deep in a low block just letting the game come to him. That's a centre-back who's repeatedly actively involved in ending dangerous attacks, clearing immediate danger, winning second balls, cutting off transitions before they can develop into real threats. Now look at the duel profile, because this is where the real Premier League test lives and breathes. Jacquet has won 80 total duels at a 67.2% success rate, and in the air specifically he's been even stronger. 37 aerial duels won at 75.5%. That aerial win rate is a genuinely serious marker. It's the kind of baseline that translates directly across leagues because it's not purely tactical. It's timing, physical strength, body positioning and sheer bravery. And Liverpool desperately need that because the Premier League is fundamentally built on set plays, direct aggressive spells, and that constant relentless fight for territorial advantage. There's also a small detail worth mentioning because it's brutally simple but revealing. Jacquet has been dribbled past only 2 times all season long. That usually points clearly to a defender who intelligently chooses his moments. He doesn't dive in recklessly for highlight reel tackles. He delays effectively, closes space methodically, then wins the duel decisively when the attacker finally runs out of options. At Liverpool specifically, centre-backs are never just box defenders sitting deep. They're emergency managers for a team that constantly plays on the front front foot with aggressive positioning. When a team presses high up the pitch like Liverpool do, the real danger isn't the first pass forward. It's what happens when that press breaks and you're suddenly facing a fast runner in dangerous space behind you. That's exactly why Liverpool historically loved defenders who could defend huge spaces and reset the team's entire shape quickly. Jacquet's profile fits that specific demand in two crucial ways. His recovery volume shows he's constantly arriving to win loose balls and regain control, not passively waiting for others to clean up his area. His dual security, that's 67% plus success rate overall and 75% plus specifically in the air, suggests he can survive those chaotic Premier League sequences where possession turns into a pure physical fight. And if you want the cleanest translation sign from France to England, reporting has highlighted his ability to play effectively in a back three or a back four, and even as a fullback when needed, meaning he's already been asked to adjust roles mid-game, not just stick comfortably to one protected system. That versatility matters enormously at Liverpool because injuries and tactical shifts don't politely ask permission. They just happen, often at the worst possible times. Now we get to the part that genuinely separates expensive centre-backs from standard ones. Can you actually help a top team control games through your passing? Jacquet isn't a defender who hides from the ball or plays it safe constantly. The statistics are clear. 90.5% pass completion, 52 accurate long balls with 54.2% accuracy. So what does that tell you in actual real football terms? It tells you he's not just recycling safe 5-yard passes under no pressure, he's completing a genuinely high volume of passes while still attempting longer, more ambitious distribution, the kind of switches and clipped balls that allow a pressing team to escape pressure or find a runner early. And here's another detail that screams Liverpool friendly in its simplicity. He's been dispossessed just once all season. That's not saying he's perfect or never makes mistakes, it's saying he's disciplined. He knows when to play forward, when to reset safely, and critically, when to not get cute in dangerous zones where one mistake becomes a goal. Even his attacking contribution hints at real composure on set plays. 11 shots, 1.04 expected goals with 6 headed efforts. He's not scoring yet consistently, but he's arriving in the right spaces at the right times, which is a genuine sign of timing and physical presence in the box. First, availability and depth pressure. Liverpool have been uncomfortably light at centre-back, and reporting around this deal is refreshingly blunt about it. They need bodies and reliability. Second, contract and succession pressure. Coverage specifically notes that Ibrahima Konaté's contract is due to expire at the end of this season, which adds genuine urgency to Liverpool planning their next centre-back core now instead of waiting for the market to dictate terms later. So Jacquet fixes something immediately, even if he officially joins in the summer. He raises the floor of Liverpool's defensive depth significantly. The team isn't one unfortunate injury away from desperately reshuffling midfielders into the back line. He gives Liverpool a centre-back with verified dual dominance and verified ball security, which are the exact two pillars of surviving highline, front-foot football. And this detail matters because it frames his mentality and decision-making process. Liverpool aren't signing Jacquet to replace a captain overnight. They're signing him to make sure the club never wakes up one summer and realizes the succession plan should have started 2 years earlier. That's the key context. This deal is timed around control. Control of the dressing room, control of minutes, and control of the next defensive cycle. The easiest way to understand Liverpool's timing is to look at what has already been decided. In April 2025, Virgil van Dijk signed a new contract reported to run until summer 2027. That extension matters because it gives Liverpool a runway, not a deadline panic. So why act now anyway? Because Liverpool can see the pressure points that don't show up in highlight clips. Van Dijk was born July 8th, 1991. At this stage of a centre-back's career, elite teams don't wait for decline. They manage exposure, sprint volume, recovery runs, and weekly load, especially in seasons where the calendar punishes you. Liverpool have been forced into defensive improvisation this season due to injuries, with reports noting they've been short enough to use midfielders in the back line at times. That is exactly the scenario clubs try to eliminate before it becomes normal. Media outlets have also flagged uncertainty around key defensive futures, including including the need to secure continuity instead of letting situations drift into the final year zone. Put simply, Liverpool are acting early because the cost of waiting isn't maybe we miss a talent. The cost of waiting is a season where the backline is constantly being rebuilt on the fly. This is the part most people get wrong about centre-back succession. You can replace physical traits. You can't instantly replace command. Van Dijk's value to Liverpool now isn't just tackles or headers. It's the job that happens between actions, the things that turn chaos into structure. And this is where Jacquet's development becomes dangerous for everyone else, because Liverpool aren't throwing him into the fire alone. They're placing him in the one environment that accelerates centre-backs fastest. Daily exposure to an organiser who controls the entire defensive ecosystem. Here are the specific Van Dijk lessons that translate directly into Premier League dominance. The Premier League punishes indecision. The best centre-backs don't just defend space, they decide where the game is played. Learning how to keep the line connected to the midfield, when to squeeze, when to drop, and how to avoid stretching the pitch into two separate teams, that's apprenticeship-level learning. At the top level, centre-backs win duels before the duel happens, by reading the striker's body shape, checking shoulders, and taking the half-step early. That doesn't show up as a stat on its own, but it shows up in outcomes. Fewer emergency sprints, fewer last-ditch blocks, fewer fouls in bad zones. Liverpool's defending is built on roles. Who steps, who covers, who holds, who tracks the runner, who takes the first header, who cleans the second ball. Playing next to a captain who assigns those roles in real time teaches a young defender the biggest step in senior football, owning decisions without hesitation. That's what Jacquet is buying with this move, not just a new league, a defensive education pipeline. If Liverpool handle this correctly, there's no awkward year where the team has to choose between development and results. The solution is a phased integration that protects both the player and the back line. Here's what that looks like in practice. Phase 1. Shadow minutes. Without pressure, this is where Liverpool can be ruthless and smart at the same time. Give Jacquet starts in fixtures where game state is predictable, opponents who don't pin you back for 90 minutes. Use him in rotations that still keep an experienced organiser on the pitch, not necessarily always Van Dijk, but always someone who can hold the line together. This phase is about building league rhythm, pace of duels, aerial traffic, refereeing tolerance, without making him the headline every weekend. Phase 2, pairing logic. Complementary profiles, not copy-paste. The goal isn't to find the next Van Dijk, it's to build a centre-back unit with role clarity. One defender who leads the line and protects space. One defender who steps into duels and cleans the second phase. Both comfortable enough in possession that Liverpool don't have to adjust their build-up just to accommodate them. Liverpool's best defensive eras haven't been about clones, they've been about partnerships where each profile covers the other's risk. Phase 3. Van Dijk's minutes are managed, not eliminated. This is the part that keeps Liverpool strong in the present while building the future. Van Dijk's contract situation means Liverpool can avoid the one summer reset. They can reduce exposure in the most physically punishing stretches, protect him from unnecessary midweek load when the squad permits, keep him fresh for the fixtures where leadership is non-negotiable, away games, high-pressure finals, hostile atmospheres. That way Liverpool aren't asking Jacquet to carry everything. They're asking him to take a share, then gradually increase it. Top clubs get punished for waiting because the market doesn't pause for your timeline. That's why beating Chelsea to this deal matters. It's a statement that Liverpool see Jacquet as a centre-back worth acting on before he becomes a bidding war. And it's also why the fee makes sense in strategic terms. Liverpool aren't only paying for what he is today, they're paying to lock in a premium age profile, a defined development plan, and the protection that comes from having the next centre-back cycle already inside the building. This is not a good player joins a big club story. This is Liverpool taking advantage of a rare situation, a young centre-back available at the exact moment the club can still keep its defensive leader on the pitch, while quietly building the next era underneath him. And now we get to the part that makes this signing genuinely scary, because once you understand the succession plan, the next question is inevitable. What does Jacquet change in Liverpool's defensive structure? The pressing, the rest defence, the way they protect transitions? And why why does that make them harder to play against immediately? This isn't just about signing a young defender, it's about timing, control, and refusing to let a cycle end before the next one is ready. Liverpool aren't replacing leaders, they're preparing the ground beneath them. Jacquet arrives without pressure to save the defence, but with a clear path to grow into it. And that's what makes this move dangerous, because when transition is planned, not forced, dominance doesn't dip, it evolves.